foreseeing my notes. Okay. Hello everyone, are we live? If you can see me live, then say hello, say a quick hello so I can get to see who's online. Let's do that quick. So we're going to get started with the conversation on customers also need ethics. We're trying out a new system, so I'd like you to comment so that I can see who's online. Quick. Okay, I'm going to call my team to support today's Facebook Live. Where do I see the questions? All right. We just wait for a couple of minutes and we're going to have this conversation today on customers also need ethics. Okay. I need the... Okay. All right. Hello Sonal. Hi Amit. Hello Neeta. Hi Pooja. Who else is online? Hi Vinod. Hi Siddhant. Just getting more people in. Okay. Hello Pearl. So I'm going to be using this interesting dual system. There's a camera recording me and I have a phone in my hand so that I can read your questions. Hey Avi. Nice to see you. I'm doing good, man. All right. Thank you for the t-shirts. Compliment. Hello, Brigadier Sushil. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so we're trying a new system out. It's going to be a little shabby and chaotic while we get settled. Okay. I don't see myself live here. This is like a minute behind. Is there a reason to that? Okay, there's a 10-second lag. So whatever I say 10 seconds later, it reaches out to each and every one of you. Hi Ravi, hi Saranya. Awesome. So let's get started with today's conversation on customers also need ethics. So before I begin, I want to ask you this question. What brings you to this Facebook Live? Is it the fact that you feel, oh wow, this is an interesting topic. Everybody has always spoken about business need ethics. And today we're talking about customers also need ethics. Or is it that you've been a victim to a customer? Okay, you know, some customers bring kasht in our life. And for those of you watching this internationally, in Hindi, the word kasht means pain. So some customers are painful. So if you have had a customer in your life, then say yes. Okay, type out that you've had a customer. So I want to know what brings you into today's live chat with me on this topic of customers also need ethics. So look forward to your comments before I get started as to what excites you about today's topic. Nilesh says, always enriching to hear you, lots to learn. Thank you, Nilesh. Okay, Pooja says, to understand the psychology of customers. Pooja, understanding the psychology of customers, the day we do, we master life. Okay. Umesh says, hi Umesh. So what brings you into today's Facebook Live? Okay, Neeta says, the pain. Okay. The pain of handling customers. Okay, awesome. Nice. Sugua says, yes. Awesome. Okay, great. So let's get started with breaking up the topic. So today's topic is customers also need ethics, and first I want to clarify what ethics means according to me. Okay, so I'll give you my definition of ethics and tell me if you resonate with it. For me, ethics is about doing the right thing. For me, ethics is about creating a win-win equation, being fair to the other person and being respectful to the other person. So what I'm going to talk about is that customers also need to learn how to be fair, how to engage in win-win relationships, and how to do the right thing, because sometimes in their own greed of getting the best deal, some customers do not do the right thing and violate the boundaries of ethics. Now the boundaries of ethics are subjective. For different people, ethics means different things. I completely understand that, but I am talking about for a sane, normal person, what would be the boundaries of ethics and whether our customers can play within that boundaries of ethics, and if they don't play within that boundaries of ethics, What can we do as a business? So that's going to be the framework of the conversation today. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let me ask you, could you give me some examples, type out some events and experiences that you've had where your customer has not been ethical with you? So let's try to get out situations from your side. What have been some of the situations where customers have not been ethical to you or fair to you in the course of exchange or in the course of a business transaction? So type that out. Okay, so let me read out some of the comments that have come in the meanwhile. Okay. How can we make the customers follow some work ethics? We're going to talk about that, Neha. We're going to talk about that. Okay, I'm going to pull out.
Questions?
Yep, I want to just try to figure whether the questions are coming in. All right. Anita says sometimes they're headaches too. Yes, I can understand that. And there's nothing wrong in you feeling pained by your customers. Right? Himanshu says, stop answering calls after invoices are sent. I can understand that is painful, Himanshu. You've done the work. Namrata says, not paying in time. Neeta says, boundaries of violation are growing. Absolutely. In fact, we live in an era where people don't see anything wrong in doing wrong. So we are living in interesting times. So let us today understand how we draw that boundary for our customers. So Shiv says, even after our services are delivered, customers do not pay our fees. A lot of you have payment defaulters on your list. Who are you selling to? Stop selling to crooks. They're not even customers, they're crooks. Okay. Deepak says, how do you make them understand that it's important to pay taxes and not cheat around? Well, Deepak, we are moving into a time where even customers realize that if they're not filing for taxes, then they're actually wasting money. So we're moving into those times. Follow-up or dropouts after having been closed, that is, sale has been made and now they decide against it. Okay, move on or try again. Both, and I'll tell you why I say that. Okay. Chetna says, my client cancelled the event 3 days prior to the event. You need to have a cancellation clause, Chetna. You need to have a cancellation clause. Okay. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm going to refer to this in some time. I think we have enough number of people on this Facebook Live. So let's get started by going into this topic of customers also need ethics. So here are some common violations that I often see entrepreneurs complaining about when it comes to their customers. One, the customer not being respectful. How many of you have had a customer who's not being respectful? Just that they pretend like they are king. And I think that's a problem because for years we've conditioned that customer is king. Absolutely nonsense. Absolute nonsense that customer is king. Whoever taught you that, okay, has no idea about business and about people. You got to strike a win-win relationship, a fair relationship, which means it has to be the relationship of a mutual friend. And I see some customers, they get their designation and position onto their head. Okay, and I always say this to companies in a B2B environment when I get invited to give talks to large organizations. I say, your culture is not reflected in the way you handle your customers. Your culture is reflected in the way you handle your vendors, the way you handle your suppliers. Because character of a person is revealed when they are in interaction with a person who they don't perceive at the same level or above themselves. Let me repeat that. Characteristic of a person is revealed based on how they relate to or how they interact with a person who they perceive as not at the same level or not at a level above themselves. And how an organization treats their vendors and suppliers tells the truth about what kind of culture and values they carry. You know, I've walked into a lot of these large corporate organizations, and I'm sure each one of you would have, where right at their reception they have values like win-win, integrity. But if you look at their procurement teams, you look at their decision makers, no integrity, no win-win. The only thing they care about is their win, and they don't play in a fair manner. I often say this to people, especially in B2B environments who are at senior level positions. Don't make people respect you because of your designation. Make people respect you for who you are as a person. Some people get it, some don't. And most of these people learn it the hard way when they switch from the corporate world into the entrepreneurial world. Because that's when they realize that nobody cares about who you are. You got all that respect because of the logo you have or the logo you were hiding behind. And it's quite unfortunate that some people who are at senior levels in organizations and have power and position to influence decisions, let that power to get to their head and don't treat people fairly. So that is something that I understand a lot of you as small and medium entrepreneurs would be facing. Some of you must be thinking right now, shit, I got to share this video on my wall and make sure my customer watches it. Please go ahead and do it, because I want to send out a very, very strong message. I am doing this webinar today with a lot of bias. I am telling you, I am doing this webinar today with the bias being on the side of entrepreneurs, small and medium entrepreneurs, and of sales professionals. And I want to use this to send out a strong message to those of them who are in positions of influence, to understand that your position does not give you the power to mistreat or disrespect someone else. I think that just speaks about the character of an individual. Now, how do we deal with a person like that? It's coming. The solution is coming. Don't worry. I'm not here to bash up people today, but I'm here to also give solutions to small and medium entrepreneurs and sales professionals on how do you handle such people. So we're just talking about violations. We're talking about violations like being disrespectful, using their position and designation to overpower a person. I think just carrying a lot of ego in a conversation with a vendor or a supplier. All these are character traits that talks about the upbringing and value system of an individual. I'm going to rest it at that. Strong statement, but I'm going to rest it at that. The other big ethical violation that I see today is kickbacks, commissions, okay, under table exchanges. Look, we as a nation talk about the political class or the bureaucratic class being unethical. The truth is that the amount of instances, stories I hear from entrepreneurs that I work with about how some of their corporate decision makers are seeking such kind of kickbacks and commissions is appalling. In fact, it would be a fair statement for me to say that today the amount of unethical practices in the corporate world is giving a strong competition to unethical practices in the government and bureaucratic circles. So that is another big challenge that small and medium businesses have to encounter and have to work through. And some of you must be wondering, this guy is going all out today. I promise you, I decided to go all out because I feel somewhere entrepreneurs and sales professionals deserve the respect, deserve the due. Small and medium entrepreneurs are the lifeline of the economy of this country. And what pains me is some people in large organizations who have a position of power fail to see that, fail to give the due to those small and medium entrepreneurs and sales professionals, and want to take them for granted. So it's a blood boiling point for me, ladies and gentlemen. I said this earlier, I'm going to do this with Facebook Live with a lot of bias towards entrepreneurs and towards sales professionals. So another big ethical violation that is happening today is seeking of bribe and benefits by people in decision-making positions. The other one that I see as a very common ethical violation is where customers use the vendor or a supplier as Google, derive all the information, and then don't respond. Look, if you're a customer, and which means all of you are, even if you're an entrepreneur or a sales professional, you're also a customer. As a part of your duty and responsibility as a customer, one of the things that you can do is no entrepreneur or sales professional expects every prospect to buy from them. But the least you can do if you're not buying is give people feedback, because they've invested their time, their energy, their effort in giving you information, answering your questions, designing proposals. The least you can do is respond with feedback so that individual can learn that what was missing in their proposal or in their proposition which made them not get the deal. So whether you're a B2C customer or a B2B customer, I think one of the duties of a good customer is to give feedback and at least inform an entrepreneur as to what was missing or what needs to change so that that entrepreneur or sales professional can learn and grow. So I think another ethical violation would be to not respond or to not communicate with your suppliers and vendors after they've given you a proposal. So that is another third violation that I see very often. The fourth violation that I often see is criticizing for the sake of criticizing. You know, some customers think that if they take this critical tone, they can get a better deal. Let me tell you, such customers are very unfulfilling people to work with. And my advice to entrepreneurs is stay away from such customers. Because I know if you're a struggling entrepreneur, every customer you get is great. But there will come a stage in your career as an entrepreneur, as a sales professional, where when you're established, when you've stabilized your business, you need to start choosing your customers. That's a very powerful situation to be in, because you no longer have to work with unfair, unethical people who are critics for the sake of criticizing. These are unhappy people. These are people who don't like to see other people win. These are people who don't even acknowledge people in their own families. So stay away from such people. Unhappy people, just keep them away. Okay. Another ethical violation that I see is taking costs just to fill in the 3 vendor bidding criteria. You know, it's sometimes I wonder, I wish every key person in an organization who's in a procurement role becomes an entrepreneur for 6 months to understand the emotions an entrepreneur and a salesperson goes through while they pitch for a project. There's a lot of hope they pin upon it. And when you're doing meaningless exercises just to comply by the procurement policy of your organization, that our organization says that we need to get at least 3 vendor proposals. So you've already decided whom you're giving the deal to for whatever reason. Either they are already delivering quality products and services for you, or because you have some kind of hidden interest and agenda in giving the deal to a particular person. If you've already decided, then don't play with someone else's hopes and emotions. And question your organization's policy then. Then what's the point of having this 3 vendor quotes need to be procured just to satisfy some kind of a meaningless compliance process that your organization has? So that's another big mistake or big ethical violation that people do, just taking costs for the sake of taking costs. The other one, 6th one, not making payments on time. What do I say? I just find, how could people go to bed sitting on someone else's money? How does your food swallow? What kind of upbringing should you have gone through for you to sit on someone else's money? So not making payments on time, another challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs face. And 7th one, the latest one on my list, is asking for free work. And I see this fascinatingly with the larger organizations. Hey, we are so and so brand. Do this project for us for free so that our logo will come on your profile. Who needs your logo? Desperate entrepreneurs need your logo. And being such a large brand, if you're going to stoop to that level to ask for free work, man, your organization needs to revisit the value system that it has defined. These are core ethical violations when it comes to business. So let me repeat the list. Number 1, not being respectful, being arrogant and egoistic just because you are in a place of power. Number 2, using your vendors just for information without giving them feedback. We are not asking you to buy. We're saying give feedback. Number 3, seeking bribes and benefits. Number 4, criticizing for the sake of criticizing. Number 5, taking costs just because you want to fit in some meaningless criteria of 3 vendors need to give their costs. Number 6, not making payments on time. Number 7, asking for free work. I think these are 7 ethical violations that any organization or any customer, where you may not be representing an organization, you may be an individual consumer. If you're demonstrating any of these 7, you're clearly violating the boundaries of customer ethics. Now, those of you who are entrepreneurs and sales professionals, I know right now you're whistling, clapping, cheering, saying someone is spelling the shit out. And I'm happy to do that for you, because I know not all of us can talk about this freely on social media and call out our customers on these unethical practices. So use me to share this video and let the message go out to as many people on this planet. Okay, so these are 7 customer violations. So fundamentally, what do we want from our customers? What we want from our customers for them to be respectful to us, okay, to be respectful to our team members. What we want from our customers is to give feedback, give us specific feedback, not vague feedback. Give us specific feedback so we can improve. What we want from our customers is to not sell their soul and demand for bribes and kickbacks if they are in a position of power to influence big deals. Simply put, don't be a pimp. That's what we do want our customers to be. What we want from our customers is pay us on time for the products and services we provide. What we want for our customers is to not be cheap and allow a business to make profits. I find it fascinating when customers ask questions like, give your margin, breakup, give me the breakup of your margin. Every business has the right to make ethical profits. That's why they are in business. And if a customer cannot understand that, that customer does not deserve to be served. Okay? So what we want for our customers is to let the business make ethical profits, competitive profits. That is something that we want. And we want our customers to encourage qualitative entrepreneurs, not unethical entrepreneurs. Because are there unethical entrepreneurs? Yes. There are unethical entrepreneurs who walk in directly with an offer of saying, how much money do you need for me to get the deal? So we want organizations and customers who say no to such entrepreneurs and build a business ecosystem around merit. That's what we want. Now, how do you get that? What's in your control as a business? Let me give you some quick tips and then we'll get into question and answer. What's in your control as a business is to make sure that your price and your value is competitive. It's unfair for you to, as an entrepreneur or a salesperson, expect your customer to buy from you just because you claim you're a good human being. Your price and the value you deliver has to be competitive. If your price is way higher than your competitor's price, then you need to introspect as to how are they able to deliver it at that cost. How are they able to deliver the same quality, the same value at that cost? So that's what the entrepreneur needs to do, be competitive. The other thing that most entrepreneurs fail in is they are not able to define what is their differentiator. You know, you need to be able to answer to your question, to your customer the question, why buy from me? And if you do not have strong, logical, data-driven reasons to the question why they should buy from you, then you don't deserve to be getting that deal because there's nothing different about you. So some of you need to do work on the inside to be able to deal with this unethical behaviors of your customer. One, make sure that you are competitive in price and value. Two, define your differentiator clearly as to why they should buy from you. Three, know who is your amazing customer, who is a good customer from a point of view of, does that customer have the need of your product and service? Because if you're trying to shove a product down someone who does not need it, then you're talking to the wrong customer. Talk to the customer who has the money, because if your customer cannot afford your products and services, you're talking to the wrong customer again. And finally, talk to the customer who has the right mindset, who's open, okay, who's fair thinking. So you need to identify amazing customers who have the need, money, and the willingness, which means they're fair thinking and open-minded people. Fourth, when you are getting into projects, set expectations clearly. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs tell me my payments are not coming, and then when you go investigate the matter further, it's because there's an expectation mismatch, and for the customer it's been like, okay, you didn't deliver what I wanted. So I believe it's the business's responsibility to set expectations clearly and have those expectations on paper. Okay, don't have verbal agreements, because later you go into disagreements, then it becomes you said this, no, but I said that. So have things on paper, get into contracts, have a lawyer defining a standard template, spend some money on having a legal advisor for your business and define a contract template and enter into formal contracts where you're committing to your metrics. You know, when you go to avoid these expenses, you end up incurring bigger losses. So make sure you set expectations clearly and you set expectations on paper. Okay, make sure that it's on record. Last but not the least, but the most important thing for a business to do, and most of you wouldn't have even thought of it from this angle, the way to deal with unethical manners of customers is to market yourself. Now some of you must be wondering, how does that make sense? Let me tell you something. You're stuck with the wrong customers because you've not built a brand. You are stuck with the wrong customers because you have limited customers. You got to go out there and market consistently, build a brand and generate more and more leads. When you have more and more leads, you will command the payment terms at your comfort and convenience. Marketing is the solution to a lot of your customer related problems, because today your entire life is dependent on 1, 2, 3 customers in a month. That's not what is called a business. That's called self-employment, where you're not on the payrolls of that customer, but you're an employee of that customer. So you're on their mercy. But if you market yourself, you build a brand, you generate more and more leads, you will start choosing your customers. You will start defining for your customer that, hey, listen, we work with people who are fair. We work with people who understand the value of the products and services we provide. We work with people who pay on time. You start defining these things and you start choosing your customers. So in all honesty, your solution is to market yourself more. That's how you deal with this problem of having unethical customers. Okay? Work with someone at a better psychological level. And how do you do that? How do you attract such customers? By building a brand. Okay? Then when you're a brand, people don't mess with you. Okay? So market yourself more. Don't be dependent or don't be on the mercy of some wrong customers. So these are some things for a business to do. Now what I'm going to do is open myself up to questions. Now I missed all your questions if you posted anything on the chat. So I'm going to request you to repost your questions if you posted it, because I'm going to peep into the laptop that is right in front of me. In the meanwhile, also tell me, what are your thoughts? What was your key takeaways so far from this Facebook live chat that we are having on customers also need ethics? So what have been your key takeaways so far? Quick. So Vivek says getting bill rates from the client. Okay, so let me tell you something, Vivek. Negotiation is the right of the customer. Every customer will negotiate. So you need to have a clear boundary price below which you will not take up projects. Okay, so I don't think we can deprive our customers of the right of negotiation. Like we have a right to make profits, our customers have the right to negotiate with us. So we need to pack our proposition in a manner where there is legitimacy to our claims of the price that we are quoting, and then we need to know our boundary price. We need to keep that room for negotiation, and we need to know our boundary price below which we will walk away from the deal without any guilt. So we won't take away the right of negotiation from a customer. Okay, so let me peep into the comments. Namrata says, as always, you hit the nail on the head. Consistent freebies, definitely a no-go. Yep. Anybody asking you anything for free, you got to give them the stare of your life. Like you got to pretend shocked and say, really? You want stuff for free? Who does anything for free? Give this response to your customer. Make them feel ashamed for being cheap. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay. Amit. Few companies charge more and deliver less, but customer goes to them. Yes, Amit, why does the customer go to them? Because those companies are able to market themselves well. They are able to position themselves well. And please understand this, customers don't want stuff for cheap. Customers want value. Now, the challenge as a business is, how do you demonstrate that value? A lot of you say, yeah, but for that they need to buy for them to experience the value I provide. No. Then you're getting it wrong. As a business, you need to market yourself, you need to sell yourself, you need to build your brand, you need to define your differentiators in a manner so that the customer gets attracted towards you. Those competitors of yours who are selling even though they don't deliver as good value as you are only telling you that you're not good enough at marketing. So you need to learn that skill and integrate that in your business. Only then you will be able to beat the market. Okay, so let's see questions. Ravi, today's session is a real eye-opener, Rajiv. I'm going to concentrate on marketing. Please do concentrate on marketing, Ravi. Okay, Sharanya, my key takeaway is we should have everything on paper. Absolutely. Please have things on paper. Please have things on email. Please have things on paper. Get a formal confirmation. Get a formal approval. Okay. It's easy for people to go back on their words. Yeah. Niyogi says, market yourself, brand building. Wonderful. No verbal agreement. Absolutely. Two key takeaways, Namrata. Written contracts, building the brand. Yes. Okay. Chetan says, when we are struggling for increasing turnover in business, we have to compromise in these issues. Well, let me tell you, Chetan. When you are a new business, there is a stage where you need to build credibility. You need to build case studies. And as a new business, you may go out there and offer your services for a lower price just so that you can build a track record. That is fair to do, but then you need to know when are you going to make that switch. And also you need to prepare your customer that you're going to make that switch. I know organizations who are stuck with their first couple of customers at the same price point that they started, and today actually to service the customer they are spending money. That doesn't make sense. It has to be win-win-win. So you have delivered value, you showcase your credibility, then there has to be a price correction. So you got to learn how to demand that if you're using the strategy of lowering your price to be able to acquire more customers. So just be aware to that tendency. Okay. Deepak says, you're right, building a magnetic brand and thereby generating constant flow of potential is, yes, absolutely. Look, I run a B2B business. I'll be honest with you. For me to come out there and say that some customers take bribes and ask benefits is me putting my business on the line. But I'm willing to do that purely because today my B2B business has a big enough brand and we have enough ethical customers who want to work with us. So when we walk into a large corporate organization and we get the indication from a potential customer where he works on kickbacks and bribes, we walk away. We say we don't want to work with such people. We have that luxury today because we have enough leads. Are you getting what I'm saying? So create that luxury for yourself. Don't expect the world to change. There are some cheap people there. If you encounter them, stay away from them. Okay, so just that's going to be my advice, most practical advice that I could give a business. Okay, Tapan says, can the video be available later on? Yes, the video will be available on my YouTube channel. The video will be available on my Facebook timeline. Tag your customers if it's required. Okay, in the comments. Anup, we need to get the idea of letting customer go if their behavior is not ethical. And I'll tell you this, Anup, as difficult as it sounds, the day you start taking a stand to not work with unethical people, the universe responds by giving you ethical people. The day you start tolerating unethical people and say, chalo yaar, this is the way the market works, then that's all the type of people that you attract into your life. I don't like talking a lot of law of attraction, but I believe in the powers of the universe. Okay. Shiv says, Rajiv, when we build a brand, sometimes a customer attacking psychologically your service. Psychological, the service we pay you for earlier service. Well, it's simple, Shiv. Do some customers want to be at the same price point forever? Yes. Do they not understand the basics of inflation? They do. And if you're not able to negotiate with them on an ever increasing price because of the basics of inflation, then let such customers go and find new customers. That's the only advice I will give you. Okay. Okay. Now, Srinivasalu says, customers place orders and they don't lift material. Now, I know some businesses, the nature of your business is such that if the customer does not make progress in their business, it kind of has a domino effect on yours. Now, you either can live with that flaw, Srinivasalu, saying that my business is dependent on the evolution of my customer's business, that only when they reach a certain stage does my project work begin. Either you got to live with that flaw because that's the design of your business model, or you reinvent your business model and add other products and services where the customer picking your goods and services is not dependent on their dependencies. Like I know for a fact that, say for example, I have a friend of mine whom we coach who's in the swimming pool construction business, and his business is directly dependent on a builder making progress on their site construction. And if a particular project is stuck for a long time, though this person has the purchase order for swimming pool construction, he can't get started. Now, that's the flaw in the design of that business. The only other option for him is to reinvent a business model where he has consistent projects. So now he takes up swimming pool maintenance projects with all these resorts and high-end apartments and 5-star hotels, which gives him his consistent cash flow while he's in the swimming pool construction business. So reinvent your business model if you have too many high dependencies on your customer's business or customer's projects moving forward. So that would be my advice, Srinivasalu. Okay, Neeta says, choosing right customers by doing our marketing is what I find the most important. Absolutely. Market head to crack a wrong customer. Yeah, move forward is all I would say, Anita. Vinod says, customer has need, interested and wants the product, but he's not willing to pay. You need to really question such a customer with a lot of grace. I'm not saying fight with your customers, okay, but I'm saying question your customers with a lot of grace. Like, you know, one of the most powerful ways of confronting your customers on their unethical practices is to use your weakness in that relationship as a strength. Which means, if you're talking to a decision maker and that person is saying, I want great quality, I want great I want delivery on time, but I'm not willing to pay this much amount of money, then in that relationship, if they are behaving like king and you're one level below, then use that weakness as a strength and ask them questions which will make them reflect. Questions like, you want everything, but you're not willing to pay anything. How can I do such work? Ask them such questions. Let them give you a logical explanation. I'm telling you, some of us, what happens is that we don't question our customers. And I'm not saying fight with them. I'm saying use weakness in that situation as a strength and say, sir, you want everything. What about me? How will this take care of my interest? And I'm telling you, they need to be really, really cheap to respond and say, I don't care about your interests. Then all you need to do is graciously say, well, sir, then it's not a win-win relationship and we like working only with win-win people. Give a nice little slap sometimes to these people. They may be VP in a large organization, but VP is very poor values if they are behaving like this. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur, you're the lifeline of this economy. The country owes you a lot. You pay taxes on time. People better respect you for it. Okay, what else? Anand Sethi says, market yourself, build a brand. Saranya says, can we have legal agreement for B2B businesses of supplying bedspreads and towels or hospitals? Will big brand hospitals and hotels sign the agreement? Well, it depends on how you pitch it, Saranya. If you go out there and say, I'm making you sign this agreement because I don't trust you, nobody would want to sign it. But if you go out there and make it sound like a proposition and say, hey, you know what? So that there is no confusion, so that there is no ambiguity in what we are supposed to deliver, we put things on paper. And you put it on paper. If they're not willing to sign an agreement, at least an email record, some kind of an email record. So I would say the best way is to get a legal advisor to advise you on what can be a claimable claim tomorrow if there is any kind of default that you face. Okay, Prashant says, what should we do when quote expires and customer comes back asking the same price after a month when prices have increased? Well, Prashant, if you know that you cannot deliver that project at that price and you know it's below your boundary price, then let them know that, look, in the nature of your business, time dictates the price and that pricing was at that time. And also what helps is like this, you know, if you've ever tried to book a holiday with a travel agent, I've been working with few travel agents now, they always tell you, this is the flight rate, this is the room rate. Rates are subject to the time of booking. So the rates change based on when you book. This is the booking and this amount that they've given you is valid for 24 hours or 48 hours. So make that big and bold in your terms and conditions and send it to your customer. Okay, and keep using that, re-emphasizing that to close the deal with them in the next 24 to 48 hours. If they naturally take more time, then they also know that, look, you already clarified this, that based on the nature of products and services you provide, time decides the price. So they won't argue if you've not clarified this. Okay. Sambhav says, what do you do about expectations that cannot be met? Sambhav, you address such expectations in advance. Okay, you call out such expectations even at the time of closing the sale, saying that, hey, listen, I want to clarify, this is what we provide, this is what we do, this is what we can deliver upon. And I'm just saying, just to let you know, that these are things that sometimes go beyond boundaries of expectations. So I hope you're not expecting that. Okay, so you call out, and this comes from learning. As and when you go through people asking you for the world without willing to pay any price, then you collect such unrealistic expectations and put it up as a part of your FAQ sheet to your customer saying these are unrealistic expectations, don't even try. Okay, and if anybody is promising you that, then they're lying. Even go ahead and say that if that's the truth. Okay, Srinivas says, how to negotiate when we have competition, when we have same kind of service. We are into sound and lights rental service business for events. Sometimes customers are attached to one particular vendor for some underhand reason. Well, Srinivas, I understand you fully. I have an events company. We work with our vendors as well. And when we work with our vendors as a customer, we look for the best price. There's no two ways about it. And I also understand your challenge that because we are comfortable with certain vendors for years, okay, we don't want to change our vendors. So you need to just accept that right now there's a roadblock with this particular prospect. Now what do? You know that this prospect has a particular partner or vendor that they are working with for a long time, and that relationship is very, very deep, and it'll be difficult for me to break that unless and until something drastic happens as a fallout between these two organizations. The simplest thing for you to do, Srinivas, is market more. Go out there and find more customers. Okay. When my team goes out as an events company to corporates, they come back, okay, with saying, is there potential? We have a category in our sales tracker that says roadblock, which means they already have a deep relationship. The only thing we can do is have a friendly follow-up, keep adding value through marketing, give them good information so that they start looking at us. But till that point, we don't push. We just seek new customers or find new customers. That's the simplest approach, Srinivas. Mahesh, thank you so much, Rajiv. Good news. We have a good infrastructure employees, and at the same time, who does not have much infrastructure, hardly they can sell the product and give away price, as this does not make, however, the focus of our end is customer service in the space we have. Okay, I didn't really get your question. Does not make much difference for the margin, which is the challenge. Mahesh, could you rephrase that question for me? Absolutely, Nilesh. Business owners need uniform principles and practices to be there. We just can't go with the flow and be desperate in the market for getting business. Chetan says, till we become a big brand, we can't take risk to lose customers. No, Chetan, you're getting it wrong. You need to do marketing consistently so that you get enough leads, and when you have enough leads, that's when you will get enough projects, and when you get enough projects is when you'll become a big brand. So your answer is, first step, do a lot more of marketing and generate leads. If you are waiting for customers to come to you, if your only way of generating new customers is through word of mouth, then you're not marketing. Word of mouth is not a marketing strategy. So you got to be aware to that, and you need to learn marketing, adapt new practices, and implement them in your business. That's when you will build a big brand. Otherwise, if you are going to go in with this mindset saying, till I become a big brand, I can't let go of my customers, you will work at a very, very low price, and you will work at compromised profits, and over a period of time, your brand reputation in the market will be, they do low-end projects. You can't live with that for the rest of your life. That's a more dangerous curse to live with. Okay. Shiv says, thanks Rajiv, wonderful real eye opener for me. Chetna says, key takeaway, building brand, formal contract. Vivek, please sum up your solutions again to deal with unethical customer behaviors. Okay, Vivek, here are the pointers for dealing with unethical customers. First one, be competitive in your price and in your value. Okay, your price has to be competitive based on market benchmarks, or you better have a very, very good reason of why your price is way higher. Okay, and the reason should be logical. So which is the second reason? You need to define your differentiator. Why should any customer buy from you? List reasons why they should buy from you. Most entrepreneurs, when they sit to list reasons, the only reasons the reason they have of why a customer should buy from them is they feel, because I'm a good human being. Well, nobody cares if you're a good human being. There has to be value in it for the customer. So please know why the customer should buy from you. Differentiator. Then know who is your amazing customer. Who is the customer who has the need, the money, and the willingness to buy. Target that kind of clients. Don't just target easy to target clients. Then set clear expectations with the customer and put them on record, put them on paper. And finally, market more. So these were the pointers, Vivek, just for me to review. All right, we're going to wrap this up in another couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Lakshmi says, 1 second. Yeah, we have Venkateshwar Rao. Few corporate customers are forcing to accept bill discount scheme. Well, there's no harm in accepting a bill discount scheme if it saves you the cost of incurring interest on that working capital. You know, see, there's no harm where the customer is offering you such alternatives. I don't think that's unethical. I think that's pretty normal. If they're giving you a faster payout for a better rate, it's fair exchange, right? So you need to understand your cost of working capital and see whether that kind of benefit you can pass on to your customer. There's no harm in that. Lakshmi says, Rajiv, today there are hardly any service or products that hold monopoly. Do you think customers need to be more aware of perfection as against mediocrity? Customers seem to prefer mediocrity cause of less money. Well, Lakshmi, I agree to you and I disagree to you. Which means, do customers need to be quality conscious? Yes. At the same time, are there customers who are only cost conscious? Yes. So as a business, you need to be clear who is your right customer. If you are selling the story of quality to a customer who only cares for cost, you're talking to the wrong customer. I'll give a classic example. My events company, when we go there to pitch for events to large corporates, we try to understand, is this a cost-centric company or a quality-centric company? And we know we are not the right fit for a cost-centric company. Because a cost-centric company does not care whether their stage is rattling, whether their sound and their speaker is jarring. They don't care. For them, doing that event is a checklist item. And we are clear, we won't put our name against an event like that. So we are constantly skimming the market and actually identifying who are those customers for whom the event actually makes a difference to their business, who value quality. And those kind of quality conscious customers are matured, that quality comes at a price. Very rarely will you find a quality conscious customer who will behave cheap. And if they behave cheap, then you walk away. You find another quality conscious customer. Simple as that. So don't live under the notion that because that all customers are cost conscious. Not true. Not true. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ravi, tag all customers on this. Share this. Share this. All you entrepreneurs, share this today. Okay, let's send out a message to the world. Okay. Vedika, choose your customers smartly, market yourself, and they will come to you. Absolutely, Vedika. All right. Maya says, we have a good infrastructure, employees, and at the same time, who does not have much infrastructure, they can sell the product and give away price. Okay, yeah. So, Mahesh, what you mean is you have higher overheads, and some of your competitors don't have that much overheads, and therefore they are able to sell at a much lower price and still make a decent amount of margin. Well, then what you need to understand, Mahesh, is that your infrastructure and your team needs to be able to produce more in comparison to what they're producing today. Because if someone else can do the same work as you can do with a lower infrastructure and with a smaller team, then the question is, why do you need such a big team and such big infrastructure? So you need to really challenge yourself. And if you have such a big team and such big infrastructure, how else can you monetize it? That is the question you need to answer. All right. Absolutely, Deepak. Customer is king in operations. When you are working with a customer, serve them, add massive value. But when you're in a sales interaction, be aware. And also, if in operations they are being unethical, call them out. Build that kind of comfort and relationship. Okay, awesome. So we've come to the end of today's Facebook Live, guys. Thank you so much for attending these Facebook Lives. Thank you so much for making it so interactive and asking questions. I just enjoy this process of adding value to entrepreneurs. And let's do the needful. Let's share this Facebook Live with as many customers, with as many entrepreneur friends, with as many sales professionals, and ask them to watch just the first 10 minutes. They'll probably get their message. Awesome. So with that, this is Rajiv Talreja signing off. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in a message. And I look forward to adding more and more value to as many entrepreneurs. See you guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a good day.